So hey guys, today I'm out here working on this 88 944 and hopefully we're going to figure out why it doesn't have oil pressure. So alright guys, basically the owner of the car built this engine and didn't have time to finish it up, so I had to install the intake and the vacuum lines and the fuel rail and things like that. But once I started it, I didn't have any oil pressure, so that's what I'm trying to figure out today. You can see here I have the oil filter off, and there is oil down in there, but that's because I poured it down in there the other day. And if you're trying to get oil into the oil pump, what you'll want to do is have a long funnel like this, and then put it in that rectangular shaped hole there. Don't put it in the center hole because that's actually the return. You can see how I'm doing that there. So that's how you'll want your funnel, and I'm just going to fill this up. Now I filled it up the other day and it didn't work, but it's had time to settle and I'm just going to try it again. Alright, I just put a little more oil in. It didn't need much actually. It was still topped up from when I did this the other day, and if you look at that little rectangular hole there, you can still see there's oil in there, and all that down there is where it overflowed. So what I'm going to try and do now is just rotate the engine a few times and make sure that the oil pump is actually pumping something. So as you can see, it's filled to the brim, and that should tell me that the oil cooler and the oil pump is filled with oil. I went ahead and put the oil filter back on and turned the engine over a few times, but as you can see, no oil getting to the oil filter whatsoever, or the OPRV for that matter. So I'm going to go ahead and put some oil down the center hole and rotate the crank backwards a few more times just to see if I can't get that to work, because that didn't seem to work. All right, I poured nearly a quart of oil into this oil cooler housing here, and I turned it over. I still didn't have any oil pressure, so that should be full now. So the only thing that I really have left to do is try putting oil down the center hole one more time and then turning the crank backwards. Now I've already done this, but at this point it's worth trying again, I suppose. So as you can see, the center hole is now filled to the brim with oil, and I've been rotating the crank backwards here, and nothing's happening. It's not going down at all. It's just sitting there like that. You do see it shaking a little bit, but that's just me shaking the engine. It isn't going down. So at this point, again, the oil cooler should be filled up and the oil pump should have plenty of oil in it. Well, unfortunately guys, it looks like I'm going to have to dig into this engine after all. I was hoping to give it another shot, and hopefully there was just something that I missed. Now, this is the first time I've ever had to prime a pump this way. Most of the time when I build an engine, I get pressure within a few turns, often before the fuel rail even builds up enough pressure to start the engine. So this is new to me. And as you can see, both ports here are filled to the brim, and since this is the first time I've ever done it, I'm not entirely sure what should happen as I rotate the crank backwards like this, but I would think that if the pump was turning, that I should see this oil go down, but that isn't happening. So as mentioned, I'm going to be tearing into the engine, and first thing I got to do is get the starter off and get the flywheel lock on so we can get this bolt off here. Alright, last night I got the car up on ramps. I was going to pull the starter and check the oil pump sleeve, but I've decided that I'm going to try pressurizing the system again. Let's see that I have my air hose here with a rubber tip. I have everything blocked off, and I'll show you how this is going to work here. So you can see that it's pressurizing because you can hear it. So let it go, but the air comes out. And that's all air come out. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and have someone start it as I'm doing that. I'm going to try it first with the car up on the ramp, since all the oil is going to be at the pickup tube, and then I'll put it down on the ground and try it that way. Alright guys, it looks like that was a success. I now have oil pressure. Now I tried this the other night, but it didn't work, and I don't know whether having the front end up helped it a little bit or what, but anyway, I'm now got oil pressure when I turn the key over, and I don't even have the hose connected. So that is very good. I'm going to try and get everything connected here. You can see I have the speed and reference sensors disconnected, so that way I wouldn't have any spark or fuel going to the engine while I turned it over. So I'm going to get the J-boot back on, get all these little plugs pulled out here, and let's see this thing run. Alright guys, I have everything connected, and I'm going to go try and start her up. So we got oil pressure now. Alright guys, this engine now has oil pressure, so I thought I would take you through how I pressurized the system. Now, the first thing I did was remove the oil filter and then pour oil in both holes until it overflowed. I tried cranking it backwards just to see if it wouldn't pull oil into the pump and prime it. That didn't work for me. I even pressurized it before I had to go out of town, and that didn't seem to work. But last night I got it up, and I was getting ready to remove the starter so that way I could put the flywheel lock on, and the owner told me to try pressurizing the system one more time. So that's what I did, and I thought I'd show you how I did it. Now, first thing you're going to want to do is remove the J-boot here, and I just use shop towels. I don't know if paper towels would have worked, but shop towels, you know, of course, are a little bit thicker. So what I did was I just folded one in half like this, and then kind of folded it like this over end, and you want to kind of make it long, and then that's what I put down into these hoses. And I put them in this hose. This is an 88 with this hose that comes right off the air oil separator, so I put one in this hose, and then I put them in the hoses that are down here under the J-boot, and it actually held pressure really well. And then you don't have to pinch these lines or anything. And then of course you remove the dipstick, and you'll want a rubber tip on your compressor here, and then I just stuck it down in the dipstick like that and pressurized it. And of course you could hear all the air escape before because everything was plugged up. So anyway, that's how you pressurize the oil system, and actually the shop towels worked fine for me. And while you're pressurizing it, just have someone in the car turning the engine over, and it took a few tries, but it eventually worked. Alright, I got the car off the ramps now. Just finished bleeding the coolant. Brought the engine up to temp to do that, and so far I don't see any leaks. Everything looks great. So I thought we'd fire her up and drive her around the yard a little bit. Let's get out. good. Go around this way. And we'll look at the exhaust and see not blowing any smoke. So that's good. The only thing I have left to do now is put the speed and reference sensors back in their bracket and then put the airbox cover back on. Alright, I thought we'd take it around the yard a little bit. I have a little battery maintainer here so the battery wouldn't go dead. And it's not going to let me close the hood all the way, but we're just going to kind of poke around the yard a little bit, not go very fast, so it shouldn't matter. Let's see here, let me get the handbrake off. Feels like the heat's on. Other than that, we're all good. Got the heat turned off now, so a little too warm for the heat to be on. Clutch feels good. It's a little soft, but it feels good. Engages very low to the floor. Shifter feels nice here. And radio even works.
Deal. Again, the number to call is 1-800-BI.
So, that's a bonus. And had a little bit of a rattle from the back, but I don't think it's anything serious. So, alright guys, I got everything buttoned up now. The speed and reference sensors are back in the bracket and I got the air box on. So, I guess now the only thing left to do is start it up. Make sure I'm out of gear. Absolutely no warning lights, plenty of oil pressure. See the engine's already a little warm. Go around here. Sounds really nice. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Hey guys, I just wanted to give a quick thanks to all my new subscribers. I've been growing fast the past couple of weeks and I just haven't had a chance to say thanks. Now if you haven't subscribed, then you may want to go ahead and do that since we have some great videos coming up. One of them is on this engine here. It's an 83 944 engine and I just finished replacing the rod bearings in it tonight, and I'm going to be detailing every step and rebuilding it here on the stand before it goes back into our yellow 944. And if you just can't get enough 944 stuff, be sure to follow me on Facebook. I post almost every day, and it includes some of our previous builds from the past that I just haven't never posted to Facebook and things like that. I'll put a link in the description below. But anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you subscribe. I hope you come follow us on Facebook, and we'll see you next time.